Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode, a long-awaited episode of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. I'm your host, Bob Geis, joined by the incomparable, the one and only...
I'm Matt Ryan. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again on this wild Western ride of Shadows Over Stillwater. Do you have your book, Bob?
It's somewhere around here. I'm not going to go fetch it. But
Look,
it looks just like that one with fewer
stickers. I've been to
stickers.
convention, so I've got a lot more stickers on my books.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, that's one way of treating your book.
So Bob and I are, so we've been on the road, and we're saving our road adventures, the things that we can talk about on the road, for the end of the show. But first, we thought that we would bring all of our gentle, faithful, loyal 247 subscribers up to speed on the big picture.
The big picture of Shadows Over Stillwater, where we're both at, because I've had a couple sessions. I think you've had a couple sessions. It's crazy.
I've had a couple sessions. Yes. Now, the other thing that we want to say right off the bat that people all whine about is this is a keeper to keeper podcast. There's been mention of Bob and I doing things that are more generic for players or for early keepers, and those things might come up once Bob and I get a spare minute, which is hard to come by in the fabulous industry of professional TTRPG lifestyle.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
This is what you dreamed about when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Hiding in a culvert, rolling a D20.
That's right. I'm getting ready to go do that soon. Tonight.
You're playing tonight?
No. But I'm going to go roll in a culvert. I do that. That's what we do in Indiana.
Now that the White River is settled down.
It's I don't know if it's settled down, but yeah. So people in Indiana are dealing with flooding. Earlier today, I saw a Migo in that river floating.
Migo float.
Yeah, of course.
I thought it was Migo. I always say Migo.
I don't know. I thought it was Migo.
Well, there's somebody that we could ask.
We could.
Somebody that leaned on me over the last couple of weeks and said that we should have more guests on the podcast.
Yes, we did hear that. We did indeed hear that. Right. Maybe that could be a topic of discussion, but important stuff. Right. No, we have other things to talk about.
We've got other things to talk about. So Bob, I'm at session 5. I think we are at session 5.
Okay.
And you're at session 4.
Yeah, definitely. We've had at least 4 sessions, maybe 5. I can't recall.
And to bring us up to speed, neither one of us is running this straight off the shelf.
No, and I don't know if I told you this, but it's so much worse than I initially thought. Not only was like I thought I could take some creative licenses, but then one of my players just straight up told me, "No, I've read that." Great. So basically, I'm using just the most hints of Shadows Over Stillwater because I have to come up with a campaign because this guy is in my game. Right. So it's fine. And so what so the last 2 sessions, like the set, and I'll do a double recap because I played last night, played before. I really just ran the Secret of Castanegro in this campaign, just straight up out of the second edition. Yeah. So straight up ran it. It's a fun little adventure. And what I like about it is it's a callback to the old style of Call of Cthulhu, it's a different feel than it is today. It's a real different feel. And some of it I don't love, but some of it I can hang with. And it's in that book, got it right out of that book. And so my guys did that. And it's all under the framework though, Matt, of the Shadows Over Stillwater, of the hunt for Hank Hanratty, right? Which we're both doing. We're definitely doing a different take on it. And so, my players were told in a town, I believe it was where they end up in Santa Rosita, that Hank Hanratty went up the Castanegro. Lots of outlaws, lots of bad sorts go up there. They go up there and they must find work or something because they never come back, right? They go up there. They must be happy up there. So the players took that bait and they went up the Castanegro, right?
Now let me interrupt quick because we are running it differently. Mm-hmm. And in your running of it, Hank, or whatever his name is, Hanratty.
Yep.
Now in your version in Indianapolis world, he's sort of a lost son of a like a gun shooter, right? Or
yeah, well, so there was okay, so on my story, this is central to the whole mystery, is that he shot, he was playing a game of poker,
and he shot the dude.
and he shot the guy across the table, right? Again, devil's right hand is the whole inspiration for my campaign. And he shot this guy. Everybody, why'd you shoot this guy? You were his buddy. Why'd you fly off the handle and kill this guy? So it's a big mystery as to why he did this. And also, I've been sprinkling around hints of other people doing strange things as well, out of character things,
That's
violent
good. So
things.
they think there's something bigger going on.
Yeah. So, but and in any case, that's like the overall thing. Go up to Castanegro. They start doing the investigation around Castanegro, and there's weird stuff going on there. There's weird stuff, and
now, how much did you have to invent, or are you running Castanego fairly stock?
Fairly stock. I mean, a few things are moved around a little bit, but really that's pretty much it. They really it was an interesting run of it, right? So they followed a few leads. There's definitely a path that kind of leads you through Castanegro, right? And so they found this weird church, and from the top of the church, you can look down, you can see a trail. So they did that. They followed the trail. They followed the trail to this weird obelisk. They found the weird obelisk. From the weird obelisk, there's another trail that leads to a equally weird and creepy barn. So they followed to the barn. The barn is very creepy. They broke into the barn. And they went downstairs in the barn. And again, rules as written, as there is a servitor of the outer gods just chilling down there in the barn.
Is that the flute playing thing?
That's the flute playing. I think it's more of a clarinet if you really want to get right with it, but I don't think it's a flute. I always picture more of a clarinet. But in any case, he's down there, having a jam session by himself or herself or itself, whatever.
Yeah,
they're just chilling. And these investigators go down there, and these cowboys, these crazed cowboys go down there and start messing with it.
Your investigators are the cowboys.
Yeah. It's a mixed bag, right? So they go down there, and this creature's there playing, and so it has like all these little arms, like blah, but still enough where we can play its clarinet. So it's
like slug arms.
Yeah, exactly. And so it starts firing away on its clarinet, and what happens is that this causes darkness in the entire space. And they were down there engaging with this dude, and that was going about as well as you'd expect it. And then because they can't hurt it, right? It's not they're these silver sickles that they picked up, which are magical, up there in the top level of the barn. They ignored them completely, did nothing with them, didn't even ask about them. But that was the only thing they could have used to hurt this thing, but they ignored it. And so then things went really sideways when it got dark, and it left. One of the characters got snagged by it, and it just tore him up. It just tore the player up. So that character was the first casualty, right?
So you've had an investigator death, and did that happen your last session or two sessions?
Yeah, that happened the last session. He just got tore up by this thing, and the players or the characters, they just all left and said, "Well, we're done. We're done with Castanegro." It's like, all right, let's move on. So they just left. They just left Castanegro. They went up there.
Is there a clue to follow Henratty?
So they went up there, and they there's lots of bones here. He's dead. That's too bad. Too bad about old Hank. He's dead. Let's leave. That's above our pay grade. That's creature there. Nah. So they just left, which I think is great. Again, it is a definitely a solution. So they just went back to Santa Rosita, which is fine. And that was like the end of the last session. So last night, where we picked up, they're going back to Santa Rosita, and I was fine with them not going back to Castanegro. It was a good enough. Again, they just leave sleeping dogs lie. That's somebody else's problem. The investigators who go in the 1920s. When the game is set in the book, they'll be taking care of it, right? So
so you've left it for future gaming.
Yeah, exactly. So they went back, and then I had them here tell of Hank Hanratty being where he was, where his whereabouts were, right? And so they went back to okay. So again, if you remember the map, right? There's Stillwater.
I try not to remember that map.
Well, okay. There's Stillwater, Santa Rosita, Silver City, and up here is John Cross Ranch. And I said, that's where Hank Hanratty is, right? Because it's on the map. So my guys went from Santa Rosita back towards Stillwater, and in the meantime, they ran into the new character, right, who Perry brought in to replace his old character, coming this way, right?
Was it a
So
nun with a shotgun on a mule?
it was not. It was not. It was a crazed miner whose name is Sparky, who is really, really obsessed with explosives, right? And so Sparky, and there was an NPC who I'd seeded a story about another mine, the Hanged Man's mine, back in Stillwater.
Yeah.
And it was Johnny Kwan, this guy who worked at the laundry there in Stillwater, and there's a whole love story about how he was in love with this girl, and the girl was the daughter of this rancher, and the rancher didn't like this Chinese laundryman, messing around with his girl, so he raised a stink, so Johnny got fired, and so now Johnny, is with Sparky, and they were going west. Now they're going back east, and they went back to Stillwater because Johnny had said that Lee Chin, I think, who was the owner of the Chinese laundry there, right? That was help in the community, that he was involved in some sort of strange thing. And I have a deep, deep, deep love for Big Trouble in Little China, right?
The
That
film.
movie.
The
Oh
film.
my gosh, yes. I love that movie to death.
We
I would
work with
marry
some
that.
folks who also love that movie.
Yes, and so I added a little like homage to that in there. So he is basically David Lopan, Lee Chin is, and he was doing his scroll thing, and they're now they went back to that. Okay, so all right, so they're doing that, and also I've been added more sprinkling of more seeds about the weird behavior of people, right? Because there's the story about this little girl, Clementine McCoy, little Clementine McCoy, who stabbed her mama with a knife for no good reason.
So do you know what all these weird occurrences are?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
You do.
Yeah,
You had told me what they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yes.
So essentially, and so. All right, back over here in near Santa Rosita is this place called the Seneca Settlement, right? And it's like this religious commune, right? Where what they do?
Is that on the map or you came up with it?
I came up with that. You know what they do? They make silverware. They make silverware, really good silverware. And and I actually stole the idea from the Oneida settlement, which is someplace back in New York, right?
I was going to say
Historically.
the Seneca as well.
Yeah.
Seneca Lake is one lake over from me. I'm on the south end of Lake Cayuga.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I stole all that and just transported it out west. So I am going to say that where is it? Right up here, right up here. You can't see
just out of frame. It's just out
of frame. Is a prop that we used years ago, which was a Shan ship, right? With the little pyramid ship, right? And so I'm going to break that prop out because that's going to be the Shan.
You should get it so I can see it.
Well, here, let me see. All right, let me.
Here we go. Here we go. See that the fans love it when we move around the library.
All right, don't drop, don't break it, don't break it.
What's it made out of? Is it cart? Oh, look at that.
So this is the Shan ship that we used as a prop in one of our games, right? And so we're going to break this dude out again. We're going to use it as a prop in this game, right? Because the evil thing that is causing all the ruckus there in Stillwater or in that whole thing in Hank Hanratty is a Shan, right? This little Shan, little buggy guys that goes from head to head.
You should reread the story because they're buggy guys, but they're also perverts.
Oh yeah, totally. No, they're into some stuff. They're into some stuff, right?
Yeah, they're
sadists and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and they go around the galaxy perving.
Yeah, of course, as you do. And so there's a whole backstory about how this Shan has one of his ships. The crazed cultist guy who started the Seneca settlement found the Shan ship out in the desert, right? And basically it's the center of his religion, right? So he is mining pitch blend. Pitch blend. Have you heard of pitch blend, Matt Ryan?
Is that a real thing?
It is. It's also known as uranium. So he is forcing his people to go out and get pitch blend so he can use it to prepare the Shan ship. And so that's going to be something that they discover later. But that's the bigger mystery, right? So they're going through and they're
decent. That's decent.
Thank you. I try. try. So yesterday the session ended up, they had made it all the way to the John Cross Ranch. They ran into Hank Hanratty, and Hank Hanratty told them, I didn't do it. I don't know what happened. I woke up, and he laid enough hints down that they know that the silver is the thing that they have to follow, right? So they're going to follow the silver back from, there to the Hanged Man's mine. But and the Hanged Man's mine is kind of a red herring because there's a
Yeah, they're
Luaguar.
not my favorite critter. Is that in here?
That is not in there.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So basically, and the reason I like it is because it has the ability to kind of make people like depressed. It's like a depressed sort of a deal, right? So these miners go there and they work, and this Loguar is like sucking the life energy out of them, making them all depressed. So I describe this as the miners, like they work a shift, they work a week or whatever. They get their pay, they stagger on back to Stillwater where they're super depressed. All they want to do is drink and gamble and get a prostitute and cry with the prostitute. That's all they do, is they just cry. And so,
well, hard to tell them from real miners if they're just drinking and gambling well, I like that. I like that you've thought about this and put together this sort of. I like the linkage to the cult. Of course, that's a fairly that comes up a lot, right? There's a cult that's worshiping some alien species, and my running is different. My running is the big general mystery is that Henratty wants to become a sorcerer.
Yep.
And he's backtracking through the campaign as written, picking up, because all of the chapters drop a little mythos in them. There's a book, or there's there's Snake Man technology. They're not called Snake Men. We've been calling them the people under the earth. That's
nice. Like that.
Yes, because that's sort of vague, right?
Yeah, no, I like that much better than serpent person or whatever. That's much better.
Yeah. The people under the earth, and and then ultimately, my hope is that it culminates in some kind of a showdown. I don't really know. I don't know how it culminates, right? Because I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. And my last session, it felt like it. Like the players don't know what's going on, but I felt a little sloppy and loose behind the screen. I'm like, I don't really know how, I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know if it shows that I don't know what I'm doing. But like any good keeper, I just forged ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. What else are you going to do? Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, we talk about, running games on this show, right? So, I mean, you're not going to have every answer, and you just have to have an idea where you're going, right?
So my team, so that we did it in 2 sessions. I'm going to tell you the name of the chapter. It's sort of the penultimate chapter in here. I think it's Beneath the Burning Sun.
Okay.
Which is a weird it's a collection of outlaws and a weird robbery for no real reason. There's no real reason why there's a robbery.
Okay.
But following the robbery leads them to a lake on a mountain, and there is a star spawn.
Okay.
Submerged beneath the lake. So it was a pretty good final scene because there's lots of shooting.
Yep.
There's lots of insanity loss. There's lots of sanity loss, I should say.
Okay.
Many bouts of temporary insanity. The creature coming up, and I'm not quite prepared to kill an investigator just yet, but I think it's coming up. Well, I have to, because we're getting a little goofy. When I like goofy, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I like goofy, but there might be time to feel a little consequences. Now, and I think how that's going to happen is I'm going to have some investigators hitting 0 sanity.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't think I've ever had before. I've got an investigator right now with 11 sanity points.
That's not good. That's not good.
I mean, a possum could spook him. You might see an armadillo that drive him over the edge.
They are terrifying. They're in Indiana now, by the way.
They are?
Yes.
Maybe why don't you get one to dig out that drain in front of your front door?
I'll work on it.
That could be the solution.
I don't know if they're for hire, but I'll seek one out.
The last clue that I dropped them was to Castronega, which I should have read first, because I'm hoping there's a big library there. I think
there is now.
There is now. I'm hoping that the Diegos or whoever is in charge is It's got a nice big library with all of these, with a collection of mythos tombs that Henready could have gone there, and pulled out what he needs to do. Now, to get to Casternago, they have to go through Stillwater and Santa Rosita. And I don't know which one I'm going to have them hit first, because as written, Santa Rosita, they sort of get trapped in by a weird quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in the book.
I might conflate the two and just kind of push them together. And because essentially they both end the same way. There's a mountain with serpent people in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I differentiated the town because one was the one from which Hank Hanratty escaped from, and the other one was kind of the one where he was, it was his base of operations, and he was captured at the other one. So yeah, that's how I did it.
Now, just on a side note, what's been fun for me is I did do the maps. 100% confession, I did the maps for the book, and it was one of my early assignments from Chaosium as a freelancer, and I kind of just did what I was asked to do. But now that I've got some miles under me, it's fun to come up with maps that look maybe more like a Western town would look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to sketch them out quick and easy. Can you see that? It's like, it kind of bleeds through the paper. Yeah. But sketch them out quick and easy in front of the players.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, it really helps.
And I probably would do the same. I'll look at Stillwater again, and I'll look at the other maps again, and I'll just see, is there a way that I could make this more in my mind? So when I visualize a Western film, there's sort of that where the three streets meet, and there's a saloon there, and you know what I mean? Try to recapture that kind of a visual. So Bob, I didn't start my timer.
Oh man. All right.
Why don't we just talk a little bit about what we've been doing these last few weeks?
Man, I can't wait.
So we saw some subscribers. Thank you very much for coming up to us at Gen Con. We were at the big Gen Con in Indianapolis. You ran some games. You ran a lot of games.
Yes, the U2 and Cthulhu crew ran 40 events there at Gen Con. It was amazing. I mean, a big shout out to Gen Con because they take great care of us. They put them in our palm of our hands, and they just they're awesome to us. I really appreciate it. We were over there at the Lucas Oil Stadium, and we did have some excitement there on Saturday with some weather events.
So boy, that's right. Yeah, we had a tornado warning in Indianapolis.
There were some stormy skies, but the players had a great time. I had a great time. Met some new friends. Met some old friends. We had some very good interest in joining U2 and Cthulhu, so that we have some new blood.
That's great. That's right. Now, is 40 games a record?
No, it's our standard. Well, this is kind of a record in that we've grown. I grew by 2 GMs, and so that meant that all of the games that were under the U2 banner were U2 and Cthulhu GMs. So, you have helped me in the past. Mike, Paul have helped me in the past. The Sons of Singularity have helped me in the past. But this was the first time we were able to kick off those training wheels. We didn't need to have any Chaosium handouts, as it were, and run it all by ourselves. So very exciting.
Very exciting. I ran 2 VIP games, which were super fun. And again, do I have it? Both from that book, that Strange Eons 2 book.
And you did a map session too.
I did do a map session. Let me get this.
Creating maps with Matt Ryan.
It was pretty fun. I had 6 or 7 people. I can't remember now. And it was the perfect Matt Ryan experience, because the table that we were supposed to do it in was double booked, and a game was going. So we we moved some of the stock boxes around and crafted this little hidey hole space.
Nice.
And we all sat in there, and we had things we had surfaces to draw on, and we drew maps. And I talked about the way that I think about a map, what I think a map should do in a game. And remember, my whole focus with maps is on TTRPGs.
Yep.
I like maps in other things. I like them very, very much. But what we're doing, and I would stress this, is what we're doing is we're making maps with a purpose in a TTRPG. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we have to remember. We want information to be instantly and readily available to the eye. We want people
Yeah.
to be able to look at something and understand it. And and just, but we had a really, really good time. The games I ran. Now look at this. Look at the stickers on this baby. This is a well-loved book.
There is a book underneath those stickers.
And Mike Mason has adorned this with some wisdom on the spine.
Ah.
But we had a lot of fun. There's one scenario in here that I've been working on and I couldn't get it to work, but I finally got it to work, which was that's very rewarding to take something and tinker with it. It'd be more rewarding if it was mine, but it's not essential, right? I still enjoyed tinkering with something and getting it so that it snapped pretty good in 4 hours.
Yeah, well, again, that's the thing. Sometimes those scenarios are not designed to run in 4 hours, and you do have to do some modifications for sure.
You gotta strip some things down. Which would be we should do a show about that. Just taking something and stripping it down, and with both of us deciding what's important, what's not important. And then we had a short break in which I got sick.
Well, yeah, there was that.
And then we were on the road to Providence, Rhode Island, and your very first Necronomicon.
My first Necronomicon. And I'm telling you guys, I love that. It had been a long time since I had a vacation, and I needed that vacation. And for me, it wasn't just about, going to, there. It was all about hanging out. It wasn't about running games or, doing panels and things. It was about hanging out with my chums, talking about Call of Cthulhu. It was amazing. It was a great time. So I loved it. I loved walking around Providence. I loved going on the tours. I loved seeing all of Lovecraft's haunts and walk the streets where the man walked, right?
Yeah. You went on 2 walking tours.
I did. I went on 2 walking tours. It was amazing. Loved every minute of it. It was fantastic. I had such a good time, man. I had such a good time. I ran my game.
I know. Go ahead and tell them.
I made the newspaper.
So
the newspaper.
So the Providence newspaper in their article on weird fiction for Necronomicon used a picture of Bob running his game that my adorable wife KC was a player in.
Oh my gosh, that was a highlight. I got to run a game for Paul's wife, Mike's
Paul
girlfriend.
Fricker that we're talking about.
Yeah,
Paul Fricker, whose
Mike
games
Mason.
sell out the quickest. It shows. Don't tell Paul.
No.
But the games that go the fastest are Paul Fricker games.
I can see why. But yeah, it was fantastic. There were so many highlights to the trip. I mean,
and then listeners, you know whose games sold out the next quickest past Frickers?
Who? Me?
Bob Geis.
Get out of here.
But your game sold out the next quickest.
Well, that's something. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was alphabetical. Who knows?
Oh,
right?
maybe. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
No, you run a good game. You run as you well know. Bob made the paper. It was a good time. I ran a game for some of my chums on the East Coast. Although Corey and Steve, they're not from the East Coast. They're from Chicago. They're Midwestern guys.
They're still chums though.
I got a table of 6. I got 4 excellent role players who have been playing games for a long time, and they're good friends of mine. And then we got some poor couple that were local to Providence, and they sat down with the 5 of us yahoos, and we had the time of our life. We ran a game that was written by Christopher Smith Adair, who was at the show.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got to meet him for the first time. I mean, there's so many.
He signed my book. I had him sign right in the front. And you know what he wrote? Quit fucking with my material. That's what he wrote.
That was hilarious. No, it was great meeting Chris. I also got to meet Brian, and so many cool people whose names I've seen, these legends whose names I've seen and not had to make the acquaintance with yet. Wow.
It's a good time. And I mean, we're not paid to do PR or advertise for Necronomicon, but it is a wonderful show. It is just a wonderful show.
I would pay to talk about it, right? I mean, it was that great. It was wonderful.
Your favorite part was the opening ceremonies, of course.
The open ceremonies was definitely an experience that I did for sure. It was that church. While I love the history and I loved all the history, that was one very warm place I was in. That environment was very, very warm. Very.
So this
very,
is my fifth. This is my fifth Necronomicon, and that was the coolest that church has ever been. Folks, thanks for coming along with the ride. And the last thing I'll say is that Bob and I, the stars look right. Bob and I are running games at PAX Unplugged.
That's right.
The next and final con that I'm doing for the year.
Yep.
And I don't know how the signups work or anything, but we've told the folks in charge of the convention, a couple of good friends of ours, we've told them that we would like to run VIP games. And I think there's a big enough staff to allow us to do that. And so far, reports back are, yeah, let's do it. So that is in the works. So there's a chance that our lovely audience from Philly will get to taste the flavor of a Matt Ryan game and a Bob Geis game.
You never know. That's right. I'm excited about it.
Bob, do you have any final words of wisdom for us?
Nope. None.
Come on, come up with something.
Yeah, none. Not doing it. No words of wisdom.
How's the preseason for the Colts? I didn't even look and see how the Bills did.
No idea.
I've had too much going on.
Same.
Folks, like and subscribe. Thank you for following us. Thank you for all the support. We're working on Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets t-shirts and headbands.
Wow.
Did you hear about the headbands?
Did not hear about the headbands. More to come on the headbands, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cliffhanger for you.
The end.